Hello there, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. Today I am making two shaker cards featuring the large die of the month for April 2023 from Spellbinders. This is it right here. There are 15 pieces in this set. It's the Punch and Pierce Framed Sentiments die set. It has a really cool frame. I'm going to show you the frame part separate first because there's a lot of ways you can like mix and match these three pieces. So we're going to show them to you, but do that individually so you can see how each one of them works. So this one is like the main one with all the piercing in it, but you can see it only pierces and cuts the detail into the paper. If you want to cut this out of your paper, then you want to use the other two dies. So this is the largest die that cuts it out of the paper, cuts around the outer edge, and it's going to give you this really cool rick-racky type edge, and I think it's really fun. It's different and it kind of reminds me of like a Mexican banner. I would really love to make a banner out of this, but today we're doing shaker cards because when you die cut out this centerpiece die, then you have a frame, and anytime I can make a frame with my dies, I'm making a shaker. Now I wanted to show you this largest piece on an A2 size piece of paper, 5.5 by 4 1/4. You can fit it on there, but you have to be really, really careful. It's going to cut edge to edge. So just know that it does fit on there. I did mine upside down with my cutting plate on top so that I could make sure that I had it exactly right on the paper, and it totally worked out. So now I can take this solid piece that's cut out with just that outer die and have a piece to lay my frame onto, but also I can inlay that middle piece and have a totally separate color and have three-piece color background. Or I can use my frame as a guide to die cut out the background piece. So now I have a two-toned colored frame. Yeah, it's getting fun, right? All the things that you can do. And then I can still have a solid piece behind that, in this case white, and again 3 different colors. So let's now take a look at all the sentiments, because there are sentiments in here plus shadow layers, and it has the cutest little font. I love that the E's are like a capital cursive E, so cute. And I die cut mine from white with a vellum background, so you can see how each of those look, and I will use them on today's card. So let's jump into card number 1. So I'm going to take the pieces I showed you at the beginning of the video and turn that into a shaker, gluing these two frames together so that I've got the lighter color on top and the darker on the background. This piece of window sheet is 4 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then I just cut the corners off, and it fits perfectly behind my panel here. You could also die cut a piece with that solid frame if you wanted. Next, I am bringing in the embossing folder of the month called Seamless Floral Background so that I can impress this beautiful floral pattern into the background of my shaker. So that's what I'm going to do right here, and you can see it's a really gorgeous pattern. You could use it for so many things. It's got a flair of elegance to it. It's just so good. So now that we have those two pieces, we need to create our shaker. That means we're going to need some foam tape. So this is double-sided tape that has foam in it, and that is going to raise this up and create room for our shaker bits. Also, when you put this down, make sure you put it edge to edge so that your shaker bits cannot escape. It's a little reservoir to hold them in place. I have these sequin mixes from Heffy Doodle. This one's called Covesea, and I thought it went perfectly with the two colors that I chose for my card. Plus, I'm using some micro beads. Everybody asks me, where did you get your micro beads? I got them from Amazon, and I will have my Amazon storefront linked for you in the description box below. So if you want to go check out some micro beads plus my favorite other Amazon finds for card making, you can see that in the link below. So there's my shaker, and then I am going to glue this down to an A2 size card. Now those little like rick-racky shapes, the points are going to fit on this card edge to edge, so take note of that. Next, I'm going to glue down my letters onto my vellum pieces, and that is going to be a beautiful look, so elegant with white on vellum. I just love that look. Next, we're going to glue that entire thing down to our window sheet. So I did really tiny dots of glue with my Barely Art glue using that precision tip. Also, if you just lay it on there and don't press it down right away, but wait a minute to press it down, you're going to have less glue that squishes out. So there's my tip. All right, so there's my very first shaker with this set. What a cool die set. So let's make another shaker using the die in a little bit different way. So first I'm going to take a white panel and do some ink blending on it, starting with Salvaged Patina Distress Oxide ink. This is like my favorite color. Maybe you see this color a lot on my channel in paper and ink format because I love it. So then at the bottom, I'm going to do Uncharted Mariner. These two colors go so good together and are really close to the cardstock colors that I picked for card number 1, so I could have two cards that are kind of matchy-matchy. I'm going to ink blend back and forth where the two colors meet. I'm going to bring the darker color up a little bit. I'm going for like an ombre look for this background. And so just go back and forth between the colors until I get the look that I like. And then I'm going to die cut out that stitched, what's the pierced piece and the inside frame. I'm not going to use the outside frame on this card at all. And this panel is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So I'm lining that up how I want it and die cutting those two pieces together. You can die cut all 3 of those dies together. I showed you at the beginning with them separate just so you could see how each one of the dies worked. All right, now I have some sparkle silk and I'm going to splatter that all over this background. I just love splatter. I love shimmery things, so this is like a really cool way to add both in one fell swoop. And I'll have that linked for you below. It's from the Spellbinders shop as well. All right, so we'll let that dry and work on our background. I'm bringing in the Friendship Garden Clear Stamp of the month for April. It also has a coordinating die, so 6 stamps and 5 dies in the set, and 2 of the dies cut out pieces from that larger floral image. Okay, so I have a background here that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. I'm laying my frame down so I can stamp my flowers exactly where I want them to appear once that frame is over the top of it. And then I can just remove the frame and emboss on my background. So I'm treating that with some anti-static powder. This is my new powder tool from Simon Says Stamp. I'm loving it. And then I will stamp this down with clear embossing ink. I am going to stamp it 2 times just to make sure that I get it fully covered because it's a large image and I'm stamping with clear ink, so it's a little bit harder to tell if I got all the places inked up well. Then I'm using my Uncharted Mariner Distress glaze, embossing glaze, and it is gorgeous. It's so like a fine powder that it works so well on this detailed stamped image. So then it's just time to go ahead and emboss that. That's going to melt that powder and I'm going to have this raised up and shiny image that's going to be gorgeous from the background of my shaker. Now the panel is a little bit warped from getting heated up, so I'm going to use a combination of some tape runner and liquid adhesive just to make sure that lays down nice and flat since it is the background for my shaker. Now let's create the shaker itself. So first adding the glue to my frame and then the window sheet, and no special treatment for the window sheet this time. I'll let both of those dry and get my sentiment ready, which I decided to put hello on this card and using that same white letters on vellum for that. Now we can put all the pieces together, making that frame with the foam tape. This is foam tape from Heffy Doodle. I love this foam tape because it's not sticky on the edges. And then I have some Soapy Bubble little clear, they're like clear with an iridescent shine confetti pieces, and I love them. They're really fun. Then of course I'm adding more micro beads. The micro beads really help things move around and it creates a really great sound for a shaker. I add them to a lot of my shaker cards. All right, then we put the frame down over the top and line that up with my A2 size card base, and then we have our shaker. Isn't it so cool? Next, we'll add on the word hello right at the bottom where the stems of those flowers end, and that fills in that space so perfectly. And you could add more embellishment to the front of this card if you wanted, but I wanted to just let it shine like it is. So there are my 2 shaker cards. Of course, if I get a frame die set, I am making shakers, and there's so many ways you can use that frame. So you can really create unique looks with this die set, which is one of my favorite things about Spellbinders. They have such unique looks. So if you want to see all the different kits of the month available from Spellbinders, I will have a link for you where you can go check all of them out below. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe because I have new paper crafting videos for you all the time. And I'll see you very soon on the next one. Happy stamping! Bye!